Jim Jones fainting in a courtroom wasn't just some overreaction or random incident. It was the result of a bombshell moment that left everyone in shock. The entire courtroom went silent, people gasped, and even the judge had to call a break. This wasn't just a personal meltdown. This was the public collapse of a man who just heard his world fall apart through a pair of courtroom speakers. What played on those speakers? Jail phone calls, ones from Chrissy Lampkin, his longtime partner, the woman he defended in public, supported on television, and called his ride or die. But once Cameron hit play on that USB drive, everything changed. The voice of Chrissy rang through the room, and what she said changed everything people thought they knew about their relationship. Now, let's rewind a little. Chrissy was arrested last year on what looked like a simple tax-related charge. Nothing major, or so it seemed. She wasn't in jail for long, just a short time, and most people forgot it even happened. But what was happening behind the scenes was a slow build towards something much bigger. The prosecution had already started digging into her calls from jail. It's standard to monitor inmate phone conversations, and someone had been listening. What nobody expected, though, was for Cameron to walk into court one day with those recordings. Clear as day, raw, and full of drama. It's still unclear how Cam got the tapes. Some say a prison staff member gave them to him for a price. Others say Cam had them for years and was just waiting for the perfect time to drop them. But one thing is for sure, the court allowed the tapes to be played. The judge didn't stop it. And when those calls were played, everything started crumbling. Chrissy wasn't talking to a lawyer or a family member. She was speaking with a man named Reggie. And in those calls, she didn't hold back. She told Reggie things no woman should say about her partner, especially not while he's out defending her to the world. She said she wasn't thinking about Jim while she was locked up. She was thinking about surviving. She said Reggie had always been more real than Jim. And then came the words that crushed Jim the most. Something about a baby. A baby Jim didn't know about. Something Chrissy said she had to hide from him. If they find out who the baby really belongs to, it's over, she told Reggie. That one sentence was like a dagger straight to Jim's heart. Right then and there, Jim collapsed in court. Witnesses said it was like something out of a TV show. He was fine one moment, dressed fresh, confident, standing tall. And then, when that sentence played, he dropped. Paramedics had to come. The judge paused the trial. Chrissy? She just sat there like she didn't hear anything. No emotion, no reaction. Cam? He leaned back in his chair, almost smirking, like this was all part of a long game he had been playing. And maybe it was. Cam and Jim haven't been close for years. There's tension, betrayal, and old beef that never really went away. So when Cam showed up with those tapes, it didn't feel random. It felt like a move in a very personal game of chess. And Jim never even knew he was a piece on the board. That's what made the whole thing even worse. And it didn't stop there. 4 phone calls were played in total, one more damaging than the next. In another call, Chrissy is heard saying that if she goes down, she's taking Jim with her. I've been covering his tracks for years, she said. That statement opened up a new wave of problems. Prosecutors saw it as a clue, a hint that Chrissy, and possibly Jim, were involved in more than just reality TV drama. They started digging into finances, contracts, and old deals. And what they found might lead to even more charges. It turns out Chrissy was paid for episodes of Love and Hip Hop she never worked on. The money was sent through a company called Hustle Forever Entertainment, LLC. And guess who's listed as the co-founder? Jim Jones. That opened up new questions about financial misconduct. Where did the money really go? Was it all a scam? Did they use reality TV funds for something shady? The answers are still coming, but the red flags are flying high. And then came the moment that turned the court into complete chaos. Mama Jones, Jim's mother, walked into the room. When she found out what had been said on those tapes, witnesses say she marched straight up to Chrissy and slapped her. Loud, hard, no words, just action. The courtroom fell silent again. Chrissy didn't respond. She just looked at the judge like, "Are you going to do something?" But nobody moved. Even the judge looked like she didn't want to get in Mama Jones's way.